All right, guys, we've got Coach here, so fire away.
Hey, Kyle, as far as your background with Rich Scangarello, how would you explain it, and how would you explain him as a coach as well?
I met Skangs in Atlanta. He came there and worked. He was a quality control there with us, where he worked with the O-line and did a lot of the run game stuff. So I got to get to know him there in our first year, and he was always a quarterback guy. He was an offensive coordinator in college with calling plays and working with quarterbacks, so we got to talk a lot. And then when I came here, I brought him here as our quarterback coach. And he got to spend 2 years with us and did a hell of a job for us, and then left and went to Denver.
With his intimate knowledge of your offense, do you have to kind of be aware of that on Sunday?
You always know that stuff, but there's a number of people around the league who we've worked with and who have an idea of that stuff. So you're always changing, and that happens all the time. So you're pretty used to it.
Kyle, what's the status on? I saw Adam Schefter report that George is a full go today. What's the status on him and Deebo Samuel?
They're both full go today. George he was limited last week, but we expect to get him back today, full speed here. We practice here in about an hour. And then today will be Deebo's first day back. So he's been completely cleared by the medical staff, so we should have a healthy guy out there today. But, it's his first time practicing since last February. So, we got to see how he looks out there, just getting used to football. And we'll evaluate these 3 days and then decide how to use him in the game.
Will Garoppolo also practice today?
No, Garoppolo is out today.
Hey, Kyle, how have you been able to overcome, so many injuries to so many key guys? Losing your quarterback, tight end, wide receiver. How have you guys been able to do that?
I don't think there's one simple answer. Our guys just work hard and do as good as they can, and I think we got a lot of good players on our team. So I think everyone knows we got a number of good guys out, but it's not like we don't have good guys. We didn't have good guys out there on Sunday making plays. So we had a lot of guys step up. I think it shows to our depth and just shows to the way our team works.
If you think back when you last played the Eagles in 2017, and then a few days later you traded for Jimmy, and it seemed everything started to change thereafter. Was there a turning point, would you say, in your program after that game?
I unfortunately remember that game. That was not a very fun game. It was extremely rough. We lost a number of guys in that game, and they just really took it to us. And I think we made the trade the next day, which gave me some things at least to distract myself from that game. And I think we lost the following week, and then we went on a pretty good run after that. But I don't know if it was that game, but that was probably the last extremely bad game of that year. So things have been a little better since then.
Kyle, you've been around
quarterbacks that have struggled and come out of it. You've watched film this week, obviously, of Carson. What have been your impressions of him?
He looks like Carson Wentz. The guy is a hell of a competitor, can make a ton of plays, has a big arm, and is extremely hard to take down. So, I just said in our own press conference, he was the best player in the NFL the year that you guys won the Super Bowl, and he just had that unfortunate injury, but he's come back and fought from that. And, I think any time when you are that good of a player and you're on a good team like the Eagles are, and your guys' numbers aren't the best and stuff like that, people are always going to look at the quarterback, and that's the pressure that goes with that position. But, he's an unbelievable player, and he still is. I don't see anything that's changed. So it's a matter of time before he's going to play at a high level. He's too good not to, and, that goes with the whole team, not just the quarterback. So it's a matter of time for him, and that's why we understand who's coming in town this week.
Kyle, just a question about a philosophical question about roster building and the wide receiver position. You guys, came very close to winning a Super Bowl without, let's say, a number one receiver per se. Obviously, great tight end and a very good running game. Is that by design, or is that just the way things kind of worked out for you since you've been in San Francisco?
No, I think that's just the way things work out. Everyone watches the Super Bowl winner and thinks that's the blueprint to try the next year, and that's why you got a huge copycat league. But I mean, you're not just going to the grocery store and picking out whatever you want. You got to evaluate everything. You got to make the best decisions, and no matter how hard you work, everyone's going to mess up a little bit. But the more consistently you can do it, and the more health and luck you have with that, usually good things happen. And there's lots of ways to build a team. There's tons of them. And I mean, everyone. I mean, I think we got a number of good receivers. I think we got a number capable of being what people would call a true number one receiver. But it really doesn't matter to me. You just want as many good football players as you can have, regardless of what position they're at, and find whatever way you can to get those guys the ball.
Kyle, they added.
As watch the Eagles on film, what stands out about their defense?
Everything. I mean, it looks just like Schwartz defenses always have. I mean, they're extremely sound. They're extremely violent. They come off the ball on the D-line as well as anyone in the league, right there with us, I think. And it looks like it always has. I mean, Jim always does a great job, and they got some talent over there, too, that fit what he does, and I think they're one of the better defenses in this league.
What problems does their interior rush pose, Kyle? They've got three, with Malik Jackson healthy again and the addition of Javon Hargrave. They've got a pretty good three-man rotation inside.
Yeah, they got talent and they got depth. You know, they have a philosophy that's very similar to us with the D-line. Their style of how they play is very similar. They commit to trying to get those guys like we do, and it is the strength of their defense and what makes it go. And they also have some pretty good guys behind them too, with the secondaries and linebackers. So it's pretty. You turn on the tape and you can understand why they're having a lot of success this year, and you guys can probably expect that to continue.
Kyle, you guys have a really good screen game. What's the secret to building that as a staple of your offense? What has to happen?
I mean, you gotta run them. You know, they're kind of tough to practice all the time in practice because guys don't always rush the same, and you don't always have pads on them and stuff. But you got to do it a bunch just so your guys get used to running together and reacting off of each other. And you want some alignment who can get down there. You need backs that have a feel, and you got to make sure you're calling them in the right games. I mean, screens sometimes are really good in games, and screens sometimes are really bad in games. It's depending on what type of fronts and coverages you're going against.